host of the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for braving the norovirus to be here. You know, at the end of the week last week, we had a whole bunch of people at our show got sick, violently ill suddenly. Like 40 people went home and started throwing up. Did you get sick, Guillermo?
No, I didn't get sick.
You did not? Did you guys get sick in the band? No, none of you? Jimmy, I heard you got really sick. Yeah, but you didn't raise your hand. Interesting. Too weak, or you just didn't want to be seen as the lame one in the group? All right, well, yeah, you know, a lot of people got sick. It's weird when you're reminded that there are other contagious viruses out there. It's like, oh yeah, herpes still hanging in. I guess I assumed they'd go away out of like courtesy or something, but be warned, at any point during the show tonight, any one of us could blow. It could be. Hey, remember that the YouTube video with the two cute British kids, Charlie bit my finger? It was one of the first viral videos. It came out in 2007. This thing racked up like almost 1 billion views, but now it's off YouTube and in the hands of a private collector because yesterday Charlie's parents auctioned it off as an NFT, a non-fungible token, and it sold for $761,000 for a 55-second video that anyone could see on the, which I don't know. If you paid $750,000 for a video of a kid biting another kid, are you an entrepreneur or just a weirdo? I mean, seems like this should get you on some kind of a watch list or something. Anyway, the moral to the story is record every dumb thing your child says because one day it might buy you a house. In Florida, that's always an attention grabber, isn't it? In Florida, the school year's winding down, and that means it's time for the yearbooks to come out. And at Bartram Trail High School, which is not too far from Jacksonville, 80 students, all female, were surprised to find their photos in the yearbook altered. Someone, now this is an original photo, somebody took it upon herself to alter it to cover up the shoulders and necklines on the kids. Here's another one. This is the original, shield your eyes, and then here it is fixed. They did this 80 times to 80 kids. Here's another one. They cleaned it up. It's like they put the Taliban in charge of the yearbook committee. I mean, imagine some lunatic spending all that time photoshopping high school girls' boobs out of the book. And how did the school sanitize the male students? Well, let's take a look. Not at all. No, they didn't. That's from the same yearbook. Boys in Speedos remain untouched. Wow, you'd think educators in the state that gave us Hooters would know better than this, wouldn't you? I guess not. Anyway, it's nice to know there are still heroes out there protecting our kids from all this sinful V-neckery. Meanwhile, we got some encouraging news COVID-wise. Cases of the coronavirus in the United States are down to their lowest levels in almost a year. So now we can do whatever we want to do. We can travel. We can go outside and be swarmed by cicadas. If it keeps getting better at this rate, they say by July 1st of this year, we'll need a new excuse to not want to see people. Now that things are getting back to normal-ish, supermarkets have apparently been left with a glut of sanitizer on their hands. There's a big surplus of hand sanitizer, and so they're trying to get rid of it. A store in Rhode Island is offering a $10 gift card if you buy $10 worth of hand sanitizer. They're basically giving it away. Remember how hard it was to get? It was like gold. I actually bought the ingredients to make it at home. I did. And then I was reading that, I was like, oh, forget it, this is too complicated. I have 80 gallons of aloe vera and isopropyl alcohol in my garage right now. The demand for the hand sanitizer was so huge, a lot of vodka producers switched their factories over to making the hand sanitizer, which turned out to be a bad move. We didn't need more hand sanitizer, but we definitely needed more vodka. And, you know, as we learn more about this virus, scientists are learning how to protect us from it. Researchers in London have found that dogs can be trained to smell COVID infections in people with a success rate of more than 90%. Cats can detect it too, but they won't let you know until you're a ventilator because they're dicks. But dogs can smell it. The dogs really are something else. Dogs can detect all kinds of things. Cancer, malaria, even epilepsy. Someday, we'll go into an urgent care. It'll be like, the dog will see you now. Senator Ted Cruz had an eventful weekend, thanks to something dumb he tweeted about the Army. There was a TikTok that did a side-by-side comparison, comparing a commercial for the Russian Army to an American recruitment commercial. In the American version, they tell the story of a female soldier who was raised by two moms and joined. The Russian one was like, you know, Drago in Rocky IV. It was what you imagine a Russian army commercial might be. So Ted Cruz, seeing an easy opportunity, posted this on TikTok or Twitter or whatever. Holy crap, perhaps a woke, emasculated military is not the best idea. Ted Cruz, who 4 years ago took permanent residence up the ass of a man who beat him in every election by calling his wife ugly and slandering his elderly father, says this is emasculating. Primarily because Ted Cruz is not human. He is a moist, gelatinous tube worm whose elastic band pants are filled with an inky discharge every time he speaks. Maybe this would be more Ted's speed. This would be Army. Be all you can, Coon be, right? I'll tell you something. For a guy named Ted, he gives the worst talks. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is also in the running for worst person of the weekend. Rand Paul, pictured here, says he has no plans to get vaccinated. He's just going to keep gelling his hair with Purell. He believes that protects him. No, what he actually said was, he said something to the effect of, I won't get the vaccine, but I may reconsider, which is just the kind of decisive leadership we need right now. The good news is everyone in Rand Paul's life stays at least 6 feet away from him anyway, but Rand isn't the only guy in Congress who doesn't want to follow COVID guidelines. There are several others, including Marjorie Taylor Greene. Klan Mom is very upset with Nancy Pelosi, who's making her wear a mask to work, a restriction she compared to, that's right, you guessed it, the Holocaust.
This woman is mentally ill. You know, we can look back in a time in history where people were told to wear a gold star, and they were definitely treated like second-class citizens, so much so that they were put in trains and taken to gas chambers in Nazi Germany. And this is exactly the type of abuse that Nancy Pelosi is talking about.
Where the hell are those Jewish space lasers when you need them? It's wearing masks is exactly the type of abuse seen in the hall. What's wrong with this woman? Go home. Go back to keying other parents' cars at soccer games, you monster. This is... House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy immediately condemned her comments. He said they were reprehensible and totally inconsistent with the values of the Republican Party. No, just kidding. He said nothing. He did nothing, and he said nothing. But MTG did get a boost of support from soon-to-be-incarcerated Congressman Matt Gaetz, who tweeted, I proudly stand with Rep. MTG. Marjorie and Matt went to a rally together in Mesa, Arizona this weekend. Before that, Gaetz weighed in on a close friend, a guy named Joel Greenberg, who you may have read pled guilty to 6 crimes, including sex trafficking, and who's said to be cooperating with authorities in their investigation of Matt Gaetz.
Joel Greenberg is literally sitting in jail right now because he originally accused someone who was innocent of having had a relationship with a minor. That wasn't true. It was just a false thing that Joel Greenberg had said, and that's ended him in quite a bit of trouble. But I'm not focused on scandal. I'm focused on socialism.
Right. I'm not worried about whether or not I paid a teenager for sex. I'm focused on making sure those teenagers do not get health care from the government. I love it when they turn on each other. I really do. I'm looking forward to that happening with the former president. Speaking of the soon-to-be-incarcerated Donald Trump, he may not be president, but he's still sponging up all the tax money he can. Since January, the Trump Organization has been charging the Secret Service $400 a night for a room at Mar-a-Lago. So far, the bill is more than $40,000. At this point, it would be cheaper for the Secret Service to become members at Mar-a-Lago than to keep paying this. Not even a discount, by the way, full rate. He has to make a profit off of everything. And God forbid the Secret Service orders room service, could bankrupt the entire country. These poor Secret Service agents, these guys, they spend years training to be part of this elite security task force. They wind up on the golf course watching Jabba the Putt gobble up potato skins. Although I guess it could be worse. This morning, this is not a joke, this morning I Googled, would Trump have Secret Service protection in prison? Turns out he would. They give them, it's never happened before, but if it did happen, I wonder which lucky agents will get that detail, I know. From now on, you'll be protecting the former president from the Crips. This is now day 5 of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Guillermo, have you been following the situation?
A little bit, but it's terrible.
Tell me what you know.
Okay, the Israel fighting against...
No, don't even tell me you know, because you can't even speak about it. Or if you've been on social media this week, or even opened a newspaper over the past 35 years, you know that this is a very touchy subject, and it has been made even more so by Twitter and Instagram. There's no right position to take on this. Even those who say they pray for peace, subject to criticism. Friendships have been ended. Public figures have been torn to pieces. People are scared to speak up, and not just on social media. They're scared in the privacy of their homes, too.
It's late into game night. You've played everything. It's time for a game that'll challenge you mentally and emotionally.
We do have one other game. Oh, what is it?
Let's talk about Israel.
No, let's not.
Navigate your way through the Holy Land, stopping to pick up neutral talking points along the way. But if those talking points offend anybody...
Obviously, this is all very complicated.
Nice one, babe.
And I'm certainly no expert.
Could have fooled me.
But it just seems like the Israeli response is disproportionate.
Right?
You'll spend hours navigating this conversational minefield and having no fun doing it.
Well, this conflict goes back a long, long way.
Just nice and vague.
But when one force occupies... Am I not allowed to say that word?
I don't know. These rules are hard to follow.
You might not know what you're talking about, but don't let that stop you from weighing in.
I feel bad for anyone, anywhere who's uncomfortable about anything.
Oh.
What was wrong with that one?
Can you pass the hummus?
Oh, you want to give Hamas a pass?
No. That's not what I said.
That is not what he said.
Just like the real conflict, this game may never end.
The two-state solution, the violent escalation, if both sides... What the hell do you want from me?
Let's talk about Israel. Not fun for the whole family. From the makers of Daddy's Cheating on Mom.
I don't ever want to play this game again.
Oh, all right. Well, let's settle it with Battleship. Thanks for watching. If you liked that video, click the subscribe button. And if you didn't like it, well, you hurt my feelings.